Okay, so this last problem is just a application of composing functions. So we have a cost of producing mountain bikes in a factory. So for every mountain bike we produce, it's going to cost $13.75, and then there's some type of fixed cost of $1,550. And then we have another function that tells us how many bikes we can produce in a certain amount of hours, which is t. So hours are going to pass, we're going to produce bikes, and then all those bikes are going to cost money. So for part A, it's saying find and interpret the composition of functions c of b of t. So let's find it first. So we're plugging in b of t to c. So we get 1,375 times our variable plus 1,550. Okay, so we're going to plug in 1/4 t. Excuse me. It's going to be equal to 1,375 over 4t plus 1,550. So I guess we should figure out what 1,375 over 4 is. But you can just leave it in that fraction form too. It's not a big deal as long as you can use it to calculate. Okay, so I got 343.75, so we get 343.75 t plus 1,550. Alright, so what we have here is this function will tell us how much cost we have per hour, essentially, because every hour we know that we're going to produce 1/4 of a bike. So every hour is going to cost about this much money. Okay, so we say this function tells us cost per hour to run our company. And again, that's just because this function tells us cost per bike. This function tells us how many bikes we can produce per hour. So then if we plug this function in to this function, what we end up with is we're saying this is how many bikes we can produce per hour, and this is how much they cost to produce them. So then when we simplify and get it down to just a variable of t, this is saying this is how much our company costs per hour of operation. Rather than first having to figure out how much it costs to make first figuring out how many bikes we can make in a certain amount of time, and then seeing how much those bikes cost, we just do it in one function and figure out how much what our costs are going to be. So then part B says, how long does it take to operate our company for 100 hours? So all we're going to do is just plug in 100 for t, 343.75. Not sure why I put that decimal point there. Okay. 343.75 times 100 plus 1,550 is going to be the cost of operating our company for 100 hours. So let's see how much that is. Times 100 plus 1,550. Wow, that's a pretty steep price. Hopefully we're selling all these bikes, or we are going to go bankrupt. Alright. So to operate for 100 hours, it's going to cost us $35,925. Okay, that seems like a lot of money, but keep in mind 100 hours, how many days is that? It's like 4 days, roughly 4 days. So for 4 days of operate, well, that's if we're operating 24 hours a day too, right? I guess maybe we say we operate 10 hours a day, so that'd be like 10 days of operation. Okay, so then how many bikes are produced after 100 hours? This one's not so bad. We just plug it into our original function up here, b of t. This tells us how many bikes are produced per hour. So we can even probably do this in our head, but b of 100, that's going to be equal to 1/4 times 100. So that equals 25 bikes. I guess we should put a $sign up here. Maybe we should put it in green. There we go. Yeah, cash money. Oops. Undo. Okay, cool. So this problem's over, but math is never over, so let's talk about this a little bit more. We have 25 bikes that we produce in 100 hours, and it costs us $35,925 to operate our company for 100 hours. So let's even just figure out how many bikes how much we're gonna have to sell our bikes for to even make a profit, all right, or even break even is what I'm saying. So 35,000. Let's go back to black. Here we go. $35,925 to operate, and we only made 25 bikes. So to break even, we're gonna have to sell those bikes for about $1,437. All right, so that's just to break even. We have to sell 25 bikes. We have to sell every bike that we made, and we have to sell them for $1,400. So that means if we sell them for maybe if we sell them for $1,537, that means we're making an $1,000 profit on every bike, which means that we will make a profit. So profit of $25,000. And then all of that money now has to go into paying our employees and whatnot, but maybe that's included in the cost of running. That's probably included in the cost of running the factory. So that is nice money that we can now use to expand our company. Great. Okay, well, all of that was completely unnecessary because the problem ended the second that I said 25 bikes. But I figured I'd take it a bit further and make sure this was a good operation. You know, got to make sure that my questions represent a good company. So, yeah, you can tell that I've probably been making these videos for too long. But yeah, I hope they've been helpful. And make sure you can go back and watch them as many times as you want. So make sure that you do whatever you have to do to get ready for this test on Wednesday. All right, I'll see you Tuesday. We'll do a little bit more review, and then we're going to take this thing. It'll go great.